Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back with another video, and today we're going to be reacting to Northern Germany, Meet the Germans, and this is a road trip, part 1 of 4. So I'm excited to get into this, see more of Germany, meet some more of the Germans, see some of the differences in the different regions, because once again, I had a very limited trip to Germany, only had so much time, so I could only go to so many places, and I really didn't go to many places at all. There's a lot of Germany I still want to see, so let's get right into this. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and let's get it.
Moin!
Moin!
Hey! Moin!
Moin! Moin!
Moin!
Moin! Welcome to the first leg of our Meet the Germans road trip. And as you might have guessed from those greetings right there, we're up north. According to the Happiness Atlas, this is where many of the happiest Germans live. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll feel the happiness oozing out of them. The Northerners are known for their cool approach and for being people of few words. Moin doesn't actually mean morning. It's thought to come from the Low German for good, and it can be used as a greeting at any time of day. You might also hear moin moin, but in some areas that's thought to be over the top. For our jaunt around northern Germany, we'll be visiting the states of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, Schleswig-Holstein and Niedersachsen, as well as 2 of Germany's 3 city-states, Hamburg and Bremen. Don't be deceived. While the weather kind of seems okay today, these guys are never far away. To describe the typical northern weather, let's use some local terminology. Schmuddelwetter, essentially dirty weather, or Schietwetter. Yes, that's
Sheet
weather
weather.
that's, well...
Sheet.
So we're talking cold, wet, and with a good dose of wind. And what does the north of Germany actually look like? Well, it's pretty flat and pretty green. There's more than 1,500 kilometers of coastline as well as many islands.
Wow.
More than half the land in the north is used for agriculture. There are various large companies based here, for example car and ship manufacturers, and tourism plays a big part in the coastal economy. The northeastern state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern is the least densely populated state in Germany, with just 69 people per square kilometer. But what it lacks in people, it makes up for in lakes. In fact, it boasts Europe's largest landlocked lake district. Meckpomm is the only new or former East German state in the north of Germany. You can still see a few reminders of this era, for example in its Plattenbau or prefab architecture and long stretches of FKK nudist beaches. Perhaps the most iconic symbol of German beaches is the Strandkorb or beach basket. It was invented here in Rostock in the late 1800s as a comfortable solution for wind-battered tourists on the Baltic coast. Today you can rent them along much of Germany's coastal areas and islands. Talking of islands, I honestly had no idea that Germany had any islands until I moved here. Which is pretty embarrassing considering it has more than 40 of them. You've got your more schickimicki Sylt, where you can do a bit of German celeb spotting. For the best chance of sun, head to Fehmarn or Rügen, or venture further out to the Helgoland archipelago. Then there's the chain of East Frisian islands, many of which are car-free or car-restricted zones. I've taken the ferry over to one of the larger islands, Norderney, in order to get a feel for German island life.
Ja, hier ist ruhig.
Ruhiger wie auf dem Festland.
Definitiv entspannter.
Man braucht kein Auto.
Und ganz gesunde Luft, man schläft hier wie tot.
Hier ist so ein bisschen heile Welt noch. Im Winter haben wir ein bisschen Ruhe, jetzt haben wir ein bisschen Trubel, ne? Da leben wir natürlich von.
Hier hat man Ruhe, Sportbewegung, die Work-Life-Balance ist einfach fantastisch.
If I thought that regular Germany was laid back, I bet these islands are even more like relaxed to the relaxed. I had no idea that Germany had islands either, or such a plentiful coastline. Maybe German beaches are the next stop. We shall see.
This is also a really rich area for biodiversity. The Wattenmeer is the world's largest unbroken system of intertidal sand and mudflats, and a large part of it is found along Germany's North Sea coast. It's a vital site for migratory birds, and it's home to numerous plant species and animals like seals and harbour porpoises. One thing that connects all the northern states is language. Low German, known as Plattdeutsch or Niederdeutsch, is an officially recognised and protected regional language. It's descended from Old Saxon, and it has many different local dialects, such as Hamburger Platt and Mecklenburgisches Niederdeutsch. While High German has been encroaching steadily since the 1950s, Platt is still widely spoken among the older generation, and efforts have been made to preserve the language, for example with radio shows and lessons in schools. And some young people are also keen to keep their linguistic heritage alive.
Moin Leeflu. Moin Leeflu. Moin Leeflu. Ik ben Dieke en vandaag bij de Plattdeutsch Dunnedag.
Ja, ik ben Dieke, ik ben 22 jaar oud, ik kom uit Auwerd, oder uit Südbrockmerland in der Nähe von Auwerd und mittlerweile lebe
ich hier auf der Insel? Na, nee. Ich glaube, das Plattdeutsche ist einfach wirklich super natürlich und es wird einfach frei Schnauze geredet. Und selbst die bösesten Schimpfwörter klingen irgendwie lustig und man nimmt es nicht übel. Es ist halt in der Vergangenheit eben häufig so gewesen, dass ältere Personen ihren Kindern oder ihren Enkeln das nicht mehr beigebracht haben, weil es dann immer hieß, die können dann niemals wirklich Hochdeutsch sprechen oder das gab da immer so ein paar Vorurteile in der Vergangenheit und das kann ich halt total widerlegen. Mir hat das sogar eher noch viel gebracht, weil das auch ähnlich zum Englischen zum Teil ist und dadurch ist mir zum Beispiel das Englischlernen eigentlich relativ leicht gefallen dann in der Schule. Ja, also es ist eben ein Teil von Ostfriesland und auch ein Teil von Norddeutschland. Das ist eben was bewahrt werden muss.
Back in the day, Low German was also the Seemannssprache, nautical language, and Hansasprache, Hanseatic or trade language. And that's our cue for a little walk down memory lane. The Hanseatic League was an organisation of merchant guilds, ports and market towns that dominated trade in Northern Europe from the 13th to the 15th century. And it all began here in northern Germany. Hanse was a medieval German word for guild or association, and the Hanseatic...
Isn't Hans, isn't that a German name for like a boy? Pretty sure. Is that derived from the same thing? Maybe a bit different. This is interesting though, because when I visited Hamburg, there was it was a vast trading port. I mean, there was tons of different cargo ships and all types of things. And I think that's just one of many ports in northern Germany. So that was super cool.
League was set up in order to protect mutual trading interests, from tax arrangements to defence against pirates. Lübeck and Schleswig-Holstein had easy access to both the North and Baltic seas. It was the hub of the Hanseatic League and one of the most important trading posts in Northern Europe. Many northern cities like Lübeck, Wismar or Stralsund still wear their Hansestadt or Hanseatic city titles with pride. Have you ever wondered why cars registered in Hamburg have HH number plates? That stands for Hansestadt Hamburg. And here we are in Germany's second largest city. It boasts the third largest harbour in Europe, the largest warehouse district in the world, way more bridges than Venice, and more than 100 swans, a symbol of the city's historical sovereign status.
This northern metropolis is also known for
its Reeperbahn red light district, its striking Elbphilharmonie concert hall,
and fish, fish, fish.
Hamburg is also the youngest German state, with an average age of just over 42.
Perfect timing. I mean, I knew they were talking about Hamburg right when they showed the port, but what did I say, guys? Come on. I'm getting good with this German stuff.
Incidentally, red brick architecture, particularly Backstein Gothic or brick Gothic, is typical of northern Germany, which lacks sufficient natural supplies of building stone. Anyway, back to the fish. Unsurprisingly, seafood is a staple of northern cuisine. An absolute classic is Matjes, soused herring. Other traditional dishes up north include Kohl und Pinkel, that's kale and smoked sausage, and various hearty soups and stews. Labskaus was originally whipped up from long-lasting ingredients for sailors on long trips at sea. It's kind of a mush of corned beef and potato. If you're lucky, you might get some pickled herring and a fried egg on top. Fancy something sweet? Allow me to introduce you to one of my all-time favourite German foods, which was invented right here in Hamburg. The Franzbrötchen. Think cinnamon swirl, but even better. And of course, we can't neglect the beer. Exactly which brand you drink depends largely on where you are. Here in Bremen, just as everywhere else, there's plenty of local pride involved. But here in the north, we're generally talking some kind of Pilsner. But there's another drink that I've had on my bucket list for ages, Ostfriesentee. Move over Turkey and Great Britain. Ostfriesland is apparently the tea drinking capital of the world. The East Frisians drink an average of 300 litres of tea a year. And there's a whole ritual involved. I've come to Leer, the birthplace of East Frisian tea, to get initiated in a traditional tea ceremony.
Als erstes braucht man erstmal einen schönen Kluntje. Der kommt zuerst in die Tasse. Dann gießt man den Tee ein und das knistert jetzt ein bisschen. Der Tee ist schön dunkel und kräftig. Das ist ein kräftiger Assam-Tee. Dann braucht man Sahne. Und das machen wir immer entgegen dem Uhrzeigersinn, weil wir beim Teetrinken die Zeit anhalten möchten. Und das Ganze nennt sich dann das Wulkje, weil das aussieht wie eine kleine Wolke.
Umrühren darf ich nicht, oder?
Nein, es wird einfach so in Schichten getrunken. Also man trinkt gleich erstmal so diese sahnige Schicht und dann trinkt man langsam eben sich durch bis zum letzten süßen Schluck.
You already know if there's any British people watching this, they are livid. Oh my god.
Die Menschen haben ja hier früher sehr viel auch draußen gearbeitet. Es war oft schlechtes Wetter, es war kalt, es war nass. Und da war so eine Teepause sehr willkommen, weil der Tee ist schön heiß. Außerdem wird bei der Zubereitung von Tee ja das Wasser abgekocht. Und das war sehr gut, weil das Wasser war oft sehr keimhaltig hier in Ostfriesland. Die Leute wurden krank, wenn die das Wasser so nicht abgekocht getrunken haben. Als Ostfriese wächst man da einfach rein und man weiß eigentlich gar nicht, wie man anders Tee trinken kann.
Don't be surprised if your host tops you up immediately. Apparently it's commonplace to drink at least 3 cups. Then you show that you've had your fill by placing your teaspoon in your cup. Please leave your top tips for Northern Germany in the comments, and I'll see you soon as the Meet the Germans road trip continues.
All right, that was a good video. Damn. All right, so we'll be reacting to part 2 for sure. I want to watch all these. That was entertaining, especially once we get down to southern Germany. I want to see what they have to say about Bavaria and all that. So really entertaining, kind of brings me back down memory lane. A lot of nostalgia from visiting Hamburg, where I had a great time. But it also makes me a bit envious because I'm like, wow, I really did miss out on a lot of Germany, particularly with the cuisine, local German cuisine, and local to the places I was visiting. So we'll have to remedy that next time I'm over there. But yeah, with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.